Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is forming a new pattern in the short term that could set up the next Bitcoin trade we can take. Also, Ethereum is still chopping around sideways in the short term, while Solana is getting very close to potentially a major breakout, which I'll talk about later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is technically still within this bullish trend on the daily time frame because we have not actually confirmed a bearish trend reversal. But with that being said, as I've also been saying over the last 1 week or so, technically we also have a bearish divergence which is now active here on the daily chart. And so once again, as I've been saying almost over the last 1 week or so, I expect reduced bullish momentum, at least in the short term, as in potentially over the next couple of weeks. And that reduced bullish momentum basically plays out in the form of either choppy sideways price action or potentially a bit more of a pullback in the price of Bitcoin within the next few weeks. Basically a pause or a break from that bullish trend, but not necessarily the reversal out of the bullish trend into a new bearish trend. And so once again, it is still possible we could remain within the bullish trend. It's just right now in the somewhat short term, we're basically lacking bullish momentum. And speaking about the trends on the daily time frame, looking at the DXY, and technically speaking, the DXY on the daily chart is still within a bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows. And so basically, while the DXY is still trending in the bearish direction, once again, that means the price of Bitcoin is likely going to remain within this bullish trend on the same time frame. And so I would only start flipping more bearish again on Bitcoin if we begin to see a larger bullish reversal confirm here in the DXY, with higher lows and higher highs beginning to form. But once again, considering the DXY has not yet confirmed a bullish reversal, and technically speaking, we're still within the bearish trend in the DXY. Once again, this means the price of Bitcoin is likely still within this bullish trend on the daily time frame. It's just right now in the somewhat short term, we're taking a bit of a pause, basically lacking some bullish momentum due to this bearish divergence. And if you're zooming into the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, once again, we have this important level of support, which is currently sitting at around 40.7k. So if we see a short-term pullback like what we saw just here, then I would expect a bounce around that level. And now if we're taking a look at the 3-hour Bitcoin chart, we can see a new pattern is forming right now, which is a symmetrical triangle pattern, also known as a horizontal triangle pattern. And right now, this ascending line of support is sitting at approximately 41.9k, with this line of resistance currently sitting at around 42.9k. And so basically, the moment we see a confirmed break of one of those levels, either a confirmed break with candle closes below support or above resistance, of course, that would confirm the breakout either to the upside or to the downside and confirm this pattern and the technical price target. And speaking of the technical price target, if we're taking a look at the potential move, if we see a breakout to the upside, that could set up a price target at approximately 47.2k. But on the other hand, if we see a confirmed break below that level of support, then in that case, that could set up a price target at around 38.2k. And so basically, we're looking at around a 9 to 10% move in the price of Bitcoin, either way, whether we're breaking to the downside or to the upside. And so personally, I will be trading this breakout. Once again, whether we are bullish or bearish, we can profit no matter what direction the price is going. Because of course, if we're breaking out to the upside, we can enter a long position and profit to the upside. And if we're going to the downside, if we break that line of support, we can enter a short position and actually profit, make money when we're going down. And so personally, when it comes to these breakout trades, I enter the trade either below support or above resistance. Once again, if we're breaking out above resistance, then just above that resistance, especially if we see some confirmation like candle closes, that is when I begin to enter the trade to the upside, enter a long position. But on the other hand, once again, if we continue to see rejections from that resistance and actually break below that line of support, then just below that line of support, ideally, once we see a bit of confirmation like candle closes below support, that is the point when I enter a short position to the downside towards the technical price target. And once I open one of those trades, once again, whether we break bearish or bullish, either way, of course, I place my stop loss on the other side of the point of invalidation. So for example, if we break out to the upside, then I enter a long position. Of course, the point of invalidation, basically invalidating the breakout and invalidating the price target, would be a break back below that line right there. And so personally, I place my stop loss for the trade just below that line in case we end up seeing just a small fake out like that. Of course, that would minimize losses. And obviously, I'll do the same thing if we break to the downside. The point of invalidation would be a break back above that line right there. And so considering that would invalidate the break to the downside and invalidate the bearish price targets, of course, I'd place my stop loss just on the other side of that point of invalidation. And so basically, when it comes to this trading strategy, I'm risking a couple of percent, maybe 1 to 2% loss if we end up seeing a fake out. But on the other hand, the potential rewards, if we complete the pattern and hit the technical price targets, once again, either way, whether we are bullish or bearish, that's potentially a 9 to 10% profit with around a 1 to 2% risk. And so even if you have a 50% win ratio, even if you're losing half of these trades and winning half of these trades, of course, with every win, if you're making 10% profit and only a 1 to 2% loss with every loss, of course, that's a profitable trading strategy over time, even if you're losing half the trades. But obviously, nothing that I say is personal financial advice because I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm just letting you know my actual trading strategies that I use when it comes to these breakout patterns. But once again, considering the price of Bitcoin has not yet broken this pattern, we have not yet broken support or resistance. Technically speaking, this pattern is not yet active and we don't yet have an active price target, which means at least right now, while the price is still within the pattern, I am not yet in a trade. But considering the price of Bitcoin is likely going to see a break of one of those levels very soon, potentially within the next 1 to 2 days, of course, make sure to set up ready to go on an exchange so you can take this trade if you want to. And personally, I trade over on Bybit. And so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bybit account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange very similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bitflex account and deposit $100 worth of crypto and to make one trade over on Bitflex, you can get 10 USDT completely for free. And so once again, if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trade, you might as well set up ready to go with one of those accounts if you want to claim those extra bonuses using those links down below. But anyway, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we still have that area of liquidations, that level of liquidity sitting at around 40.5k, but only just recently we've really started to see more liquidity build up at around the high $43,000 area, specifically in between around 43.6k going up towards around 43.8k. Basically in that $200 price range, there's over $1 billion worth of short positions that could be liquidated right around those prices. And so basically, if we end up breaking out to the upside above this resistance just here, then obviously that possible bullish breakout could trigger a lot of short positions getting liquidated, triggering a short squeeze and heading further to the upside towards that price target. But obviously, we still need to actually see a breakout above this resistance in order to continue to expect that outcome. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the weekly time frame, and right now the breakout for this massive ascending triangle pattern is still technically active here in the price of ETH, because as of right now, we have not actually confirmed a break below this previous area of resistance, which is the point of invalidation for the breakout. And in fact, just recently, we've seen a perfect retest of that level and so far bounced from that level of previous resistance, now acting as new support at around 2150. And so despite what happens on smaller timeframes, of course, on the much larger timeframes, like the weekly chart, for example, technically we are still looking bullish on the weekly chart because we're still forming higher lows and higher highs in a bullish trend. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, of course, right now we still have an active bearish divergence on the daily chart, resulting in a lack of bullish momentum, at least in the somewhat short term here. And now, once again, as I've explained over the last 1 week or so, we can still remain within the bullish trend on the daily chart. We could just be taking a pause from the bullish trend before potentially continuing the trend later on. But either way, this bearish divergence on the daily chart basically tells us that we're due to see either a sideways consolidation comprising of choppy sideways price action or potentially a bit more of a pullback within the next couple of weeks or so. And as for significant support on the daily time frame, we have this price range sitting in between around 2.1k going up towards around 2150 acting as support. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, some other support levels are, first of all, this Fibonacci level, once again at around 2150. We also have support at around 2010 to 2020, and we have more support down here at around 1910 approximately in the case of a more bearish scenario. And if we're looking at the 2-hour time frame, of course, the price of ETH over the last 1 week or so has basically been chopping around sideways once again as a result of that bearish divergence on the daily time frame. But of course, here on the 2-hour chart, as I've discussed recently on the channel, we have seen some short-term bearish and bullish divergences play out. And at least as of right now, this previous bearish divergence right here has not yet been invalidated, which basically means we could continue to see some slight bearish price action in the short term, or at the very least, some more choppy sideways price action. But once again, these small moves on the 2-hour chart are basically making up a larger sideways consolidation that's more visible here on the daily chart. But believe it or not, you can make a lot of easy profit in crypto, even in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, taking a quick look at the Solana charts. This is on the 3-day time frame, and right now the price of Solana is on the edge of potentially a major breakout. And now, at least for now, we have not actually confirmed the breakout above this resistance, because this golden pocket area of resistance is sitting in between around $69 going up towards around $77. And considering this is on the 3-day time frame, we ideally need to see a 3-day candle close, or even better, if we saw a weekly candle close above around $77, that can help to confirm the breakout. And so once again, at least for now, we have not actually confirmed the breakout, but we are potentially getting very close. And if we do end up breaking out above this golden pocket, then in that case, the next important Fibonacci level of resistance here on the larger time frames is sitting at around $120. But on the other hand, if we actually see a major rejection from this golden pocket, we could potentially drop all the way back down towards around $45 to $46, which should act as a major support, which was previous resistance. But either way, whether we break out right now or if we see that major pullback and breakout later on, technically we can still remain within the larger bullish trend either way. Because of course, here on the larger time frames, the price of Solana is still forming larger, higher highs and higher lows. Even if we do see a pullback, once again, that could just form a new higher low before continuing further to the upside. And of course, one of the reasons as to why Solana has been so bullish as of recent is due to tokens built on top of Solana performing very well. So for example, meme coins like Bonk that are built on top of Solana, obviously, whether it's a meme coin, whether it has value or not, either way, with the price pumping like crazy, of course, that increases the value of the underlying network, considering it needs the network in order to run that meme coin. And so essentially, if you didn't want to have any exposure to a risky meme coin, of course, you could just have the underlying network, in this case, Solana, because of course, the underlying network increases in usage and increases in value as other coins and tokens built on top of the network are also performing and gaining a lot of attention. And so whatever you think about meme coins or NFTs, whether you think they're worthless or valuable, either way, of course, if they are popular at the time, then that increases the value of the underlying network, whether it's Solana or Ethereum, whatever those tokens are built on top of. So going into the coming bull cycle, of course, pay attention to what is popular, whether it's NFTs or meme coins or anything like that, and basically look at the underlying network. Is it built on Ethereum, built on Solana or another chain? And of course, simply just holding the underlying network, in this case Solana, for example, can give you exposure to a lot of the gains happening on those second layers. But right now on the daily time frame for the price of Solana, we are potentially forming a bearish divergence, which is something to pay attention to. And of course, previously we did have a small bearish divergence, but so far we have made a slightly new higher high, which means we would have to reconfirm this potential bearish divergence on the daily chart. But once again, at least as of right now, the price is still forming higher highs in the candle closes, while the RSI is still sitting in lower highs. And so once again, if we simply confirm this new bearish divergence by seeing a few red daily candle closes confirm, cementing the lower highs in place, then once again, that potential bearish divergence could result in a bit of a pause, at least in the short term, from all of that bullish price action, like what we're seeing at the moment for Bitcoin and Ethereum. But either way, whether you are bullish, bearish, or you think we're going to continue chopping around sideways, you can make money in either of those scenarios by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can long or short crypto to make profits if we're going up or down, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.